Welcome to T Boys TV. We are back again with another Hatter show. And yeah, we're quite happy today because obviously yesterday we played only early kickoff, obviously in the championship, which is rare to say this season, at once. And we did actually get the points that we needed. And it has given us a little bit more confidence again. Obviously, we have seen, throughout the season, obviously, if you base it last season as well, you do get a good result and then you believe again, and it doesn't quite go the way you want it to, but hopefully it can all change. But obviously, we will be talking about the Derby game, and we will be doing a preview to the game against Bristol City. We was going to do it tomorrow, but I have got a big thing that I'm planning to do tomorrow. And obviously, if you haven't seen it, check out the community post. But I'm also going to talk about it at the end of this as well and get your say on it, what you think I should do regarding it. But first of all, before we get into anything, Dad, how have you been?
Yeah, all good, mate. I was in after yesterday.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Obviously, we did watch it together. Obviously, didn't quite do a vlog. Sometimes, I'll be honest, as much as I like to bring the content out for you guys, sometimes it's good to just, sort of chill and watch it. And obviously, that is what we did do in the end. And it was a very good start. But first of all, before we get into the game itself, we'll talk about the lineup. Now, it's very interesting going into it. We were sort of guessing just based on what we played previously, it was the same formation, but it actually wasn't. It was essentially a 3-5-1-1, which I did think, to be fair, we would play that when we had the situation with Chong up front. It was him and another one, wasn't it? I thought we'd play him in his own sort of role, but we went with it for this game, and we went with Lamine as that one just behind Morris, which was interesting going into it. Now, like I said in the match reaction, we've seen it, him sort of as a cam, obviously under Rob Edwards when he played his first game against QPR away. But the lineup, other than that, was probably expected, bar Naismith, being actually starting, sort of in that looked like he was in that five, and as the game went on, obviously he went deeper, but it was interesting there. Good that he started. I said I wanted to see him start because obviously we've got Bristol City on Monday and he can't feature in that, and he played a full 90 minutes, so that was great. That we've utilised him again. But other than that, that Dabo and Naismith where he was to start off with, it was expected, wasn't it, Dad?
Yeah, it was. We're trying to work out who's going to be up front, etc. Lynch was obviously brought in, but wasn't even on the bench. And interestingly, Taylor Harris was. It probably was right. We expected Chong to be put on the bench, maybe Walsh as well. But it was good to see that Naismith started. And it was an odd one, but it kind of worked. And I think we'd done it to set up more defending. We'd go 5 at the back when we needed to. Which we practically did for the whole second half. But it worked out, and that's what you can do when your strikers are light. But it's interesting to see Taylor Harris on the bench as well. Actually,
yeah, it was. I mean, I remember when we signed him, it was the same time. Obviously, we got Holmes, and I actually thought Taylor Harris would probably be on the bench a few times, but obviously he's only played in the development team. When they played Brighton not too long ago, beat them 3-0. He did score in that, and he has scored a few times, in the youth team. So, it's interesting. I mean, when Luton post stuff before the lineups come out, obviously you get a sort of glimpse and an idea of who's going to play, or at least be featuring. And I saw Lynch there, and obviously with him being recalled, we're all thinking, okay, well he's going to be on the bench or start. Obviously, we all had mixed opinions about where he's going to be, but we thought he'd be in the squad. Obviously, it wasn't. And then you see Harris. A few Luton fans on Twitter and stuff was actually like, who is that? I mean, I just knew anyway because I remember when we signed him. But, I mean, it was interesting to see him there. And, again, we thought Lynch would be the next one coming through. Maybe he is slightly ahead of him. But maybe we also looked at him and thought, well, we're not going to put too much pressure on him. Let's just let him experience what it's like in the Championship, obviously, because he hasn't obviously done that yet. And it is a massive jump up from where he was obviously on loan at. when it comes to the type of football. So maybe he might be in the lineup on Monday. It would make more sense as well, being at home. A bit more surrounding sort of thing. Obviously, he has played at Kenilworth Road as well. Obviously, for the youth team, I think he played when we played Chelsea youth team as well. So maybe we might do that, just sort of let him settle in. But yeah, it was surprising based on what I've said that he wasn't in. But going into the actual first half, I guess it was a typical start under Bloomfield in the first half, in the sense that we were really, really good. Obviously, we got the goal. We was getting forward. We looked good in the first half. Obviously, we did get the goal, like I say, Ali. And obviously it's from a corner. Where the away fans were. Obviously, Clark played it in. Like I said in the reaction, we said it at the time watching it, Dad. You've got to give a lot of credit to Morris. Obviously, headering it on to McGuinness, and then obviously latch it. Obviously then play it to Ali, who couldn't miss. Let's be honest, he's been one of our pinnacle players at the moment, and does the flip again. And it was absolute limbs in that away end. It was absolute limbs in the front room, wasn't it, Dad?
Yeah, it was. It was a well worked goal. Clark's actually pretty decent. He's taking all the corners pretty much at the moment. And yeah, it was a good set piece. What we need to do, and yeah, understated that Morris, won that vital flick on really, and then the determination of McGuinness to play it across, and then Ali's, similar in certain ways to his goal against. Who was it he scored against before that?
It was Stoke.
Stoke, sorry, yeah, similar. And yeah, we deserved it. We did. We played on the front foot. The pitch. I mean, we got slated for having our pitch being dry, but that was just ridiculous. Like, it was even affecting them more than us. So yeah, and it was towards the end. Players were very leggy and stuff like that. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, great first half performance, and definitely deserve to be taking the league.
Yeah, it's like even before the game, they're doing a bit of a cringy thing around the stadium, and even then the pitch looked awful. And I was saying to you, weren't I, Dad? Hopefully it looks all right for the actual game, but it's looking like the same. And like you say, it was affecting them. I remember in the second half, one of their, I think it was their fullback, he tried going forward, and his touch was just so off because the pitch was terrible, really. And you think to yourself, like you say, we used to get heat for it a lot. That is awful. That was awful, and it was one of them where I didn't even mention it. I completely forgot to mention it, and I will mention it now because people can't go, "Oh, you're only saying that because you lost," because we didn't. You know what I mean? So I'm going to mention that, and it weren't great. It really wasn't great. It was sandy. It was looking like a beach. You know what I mean? It was crazy, absolutely crazy. But yeah, obviously, like I say, first half we were decent. I say as the half went on, I mean, Derby got a little bit more into it. Obviously, did have the big chance. McGuinness's first vital block of the game, first of three, slash clearances, and that one was going in my opinion. I don't think Kaminsky would have got to that. Obviously, did have a good game. Made some vital saves yet again in the game, but I think that moment he wouldn't have got to it. And in that first half, I mean, I had McGuinness up there as a man of the match so far, or best player. I had Makoso up there. I thought when they did go forward, especially in that first half, on the side Makoso was on, he just dealt with them every single time. And it was like it was too easy for him. And he's been like that a lot since he's come in. You haven't really seen him get, skilled up yet or anything. And even if he, player just about gets past him, he'll get back and do it. And I think he done that at one point in this game as well. I think it was in the second half, potentially. But yeah, he was good. I thought Bell was actually quite good in this game, to be fair. Obviously took long throws as well for us at times when Makoso didn't. The back line was good in this game. Obviously, you had Naismith coming deep as well. And the only frustrating thing I'd say in the first half from our end was the Morris yellow card. Obviously, he keeps getting cards. That's his 9th card in the season. Obviously, if he gets one more, it will be double figures of yellow cards, which ain't great to see. He's actually got more yellow cards than goals, which is not ideal. and he was arguing with their captain. And I like, again, like I say about him, I like the passion, but I think sometimes it's too much. And I think if he continues at some point, a referee won't have it, and he will just get sent off. Because, like I've said, Stokey was lucky not to get sent off. This game, obviously he's got a yellow card. Then he was bickering with their captain and all. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's just little individual things sometimes which he just needs to chill out on a little bit, because as it is, we've got no Brown, we've got no Elijah. You know what I mean? Nordas is obviously doing okay when he's coming on, but he's probably still not doing enough to go ahead of Morris, because I think Morris was better in this game, especially, the goal and stuff. Like, obviously, being part of that. But I felt as the game went on, he did drift out a little bit. But it was better compared to what we have seen, in my opinion. But yeah, it's just them little things for me, which he needs to relax on a little bit. And I guess that was, like I say, probably the only frustrating thing, really, wasn't it, Dad, in that first half?
Yeah, I mean, I think he done. What did he do? He done something just before that and sort of got a little bit of a warning. And then he just stood in front of the keeper. I get it, but do you sort of talking by, he did anyway. Like, he had a couple of nice touches and laid it off after the goal to Makosa, I think it was. Just shot wide, so it wasn't terrible. But yeah, you're always thinking, is what one sort of argument away or challenge away from getting sent off. That's the only frustrating thing. We can't really have that, because although he's not scoring, he is sort of, he's vital, winning the headers and things like that, especially lately. So yeah, it was a little bit frustrating. And the second half, we basically just defended and got deeper and deeper and deeper, and it was worrying. We sort of got away with it because we have been defending pretty well recently. But I do feel like if you do that against better teams, you're not going to get away with it. Do you know what I mean? So we can't be doing that. I mean, we've got one. I get it, away. The home games we're playing, can't be doing that. Not that deep. I get, defending and stuff, but you're just inviting pressure. And like I said, the better teams will end up coming back punishing. And we saw that in the Premier League. And you're just inviting pressure, But we dug it out, and we got that vital win that we needed to get.
Yeah, I mean, I'll touch on the second half as well. Like you say, they were not on top of us. Obviously they needed to come out and perform better because, I'll be honest, as much as I felt we were very good in patches, could have had another goal. Lamine's chance as well was unlucky before the Makoso chance. But, I think to myself with that second half, it was until Chong come on, we didn't really have anyone who was up there, when we did clear it away. And then obviously Chong come on, he made a run. He then got obviously fouled, and you could see the passion from him. I thought even though he had a very short cameo, he was really good, for doing that, because they were just sticking it constantly on us. And a problem we've had, and again, I said it on the match reaction, we've had it since last year as well. And again, people might think it's different because it's Prem, but it has a problem. We've still had his second balls latching onto them sometimes. Like, we'll do well to clear it, but then we won't have anyone there after, and then they'll get the pressure again. And again, that partly goes down to what I say in the sense of, we're not having the players up there, to do that. And, as soon as we took Chong on, I was more confident because I know he's going to run, and I said it to you, Dad, because he's going to run at players and he's going to, get us out of these sort of situations. And he obviously did. And it was great to see there. So, yeah, we dug deep, we dug in, we got the result which we needed. And, like you say, Dad, if that's a better team, we do definitely concede. I think we've even seen that at times this year, where better teams have obviously got their goal through. So, it's one of them where it was a massive win. It's put Derby obviously still in it, not, getting away from it. And, the results were pretty decent for us, to be fair, the 3 o'clock games. The only one that I'll say is probably, I'm not really looking at Portsmouth. is probably Stoke. That was probably the only one that I can really think of from the top of my head. Obviously, Swansea one, which helped us. Obviously, puts Hull still in it. Obviously, Cardiff lost in the 5:30 kickoff. Who have sacked their manager, by the way. Was he robbed off a chance of survival, Dad?
No, I think that he was a bit aggy. Some of the things he was coming out with, ex-Watford manager as well, I believe. And yeah, he's just obviously not got grip. I mean, they haven't signed properly, and they're leaking goals, and it's looking bad for them as well. They're not going to get no new manager. Well, they won't hire someone. They'll have it. Is it Ramsey? Or
yeah, they've already said it's going to be him.
Yeah. I mean, it might get them fighting and that, but yeah, it's just that's what happens, isn't it? And he just obviously it's a bit arrogant, I think, but without the actual results. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, it doesn't surprise me, but we got to focus on ourselves. Another thing is, which we hadn't done for a long time, we used to do it particularly a lot under Nathan Jones, was if we lost, we'd bounce straight back with a win, and we've done that. First time we beat him at their ground since 1990. So yeah, it shows that the fight's there. That's all you can ask for. Control what you do and keep showing that fight. And hopefully we can go on another little run. Yes, we've got three teams, two that are definitely fighting for the West Brom. They possibly could be out of it by the time we play them. Coventry and Bristol, it was vital. I think that Bristol City did win because if they beat us, they're probably guaranteed a place maybe. But they can relax a little bit. You know what I'm saying? So. And then Coventry also maybe by the time we play them, because they weren't, if they're guaranteed playoffs, yes, you want the momentum, but then you also don't want your players getting injured because we'll still be fighting. Do you know what I mean? So it's going to be interesting, but yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree. Bristol City getting their annual 2-1 win. They love a 2-1 at home this year. Did predict it myself, and yeah, like as for Coventry, obviously I got a good win against West Brom, and that sort of could help us. If you look at it, if we, do get something against Bristol City as well, going into that game in the future against West Brom. So yeah, it's an interesting one with that. But yeah, we will go through some comments and then we'll get into the player ratings. Big up to Paul. He says, "Evening lads, good win." Yeah, and quickly actually, another thing I want to say before we get into the player ratings, that was like Blackpool away, that type of performance where we're digging deep defensively. And even when we went up, we didn't blow teams away. We would just, we would defend well and get the goal which wins us the game. And that is basically what we've done in this game. Again, we had opportunities to make it more, but still, that is what matters and that's what we've done. Big up to Common New Atters, come on Luton. Jackie says, "Hi, tired dads and all. 3 games, it's going to go down to the wire." Yeah, right now, I'd probably say it goes down to final game of the season. That's how I see it right now. And then that obviously answers your question there, Ed. Big up to yourself. And yeah, there is. If we didn't win that game, then there wouldn't be. But with us winning it, we're definitely in it to stay up now. But yeah, player ratings, Kaminsky made some vital saves in the game. Obviously the one which then McGuinness obviously blocked. You look at right at the end of the game, made a massive save. And Kaminsky was good. He went down twice. One of the times you were a little bit worried. The other one, sort of doing it tactically. But he was good in the game. He was still good for me. So I'll give Kaminsky a 7.5.
Yeah. Weren't just his saves as well. It was, taking them long free kicks, delivering it forward for our players and things like that. And yeah, just commanding. Like I say, he got caught a couple of times. The Derby fans were not happy with that. So blatant time wasting that. Yeah, they do make him live it a little bit, but he was clattered at least twice. So yeah, I'll give him a 7.5.
Oh, sorry about that. I'm just Didn't realise my laptop's about to die, so I just went to grab the charger quickly. But yeah, 7.5. Yeah, like I say, he was taking it. And what I've noticed a lot as well throughout the season is at times in games we would have someone like Clark, for example, would come deep, especially under Bloomfield, and take them ones from them areas sometimes. So it's good that Kaminsky was taking them. There's a bit more trust in him now, from the back line. And again, it works both ways, doesn't it? It's like Kaminsky's got trust in that defence now. They've got trust in him to play it back and let him take these free kicks and stuff. And obviously we did nearly actually score from one as well. So yeah, that's Kaminsky's rating. Other ratings, Paul has gone 8.5 for Kaminsky. Jackie's gone with an 8. Fair enough. Moving on we'll go over to Makoso. Like I say, first off, I thought he was up there again. I thought he was good for us. Yeah, he's really good. Just the way he's dealing with the players, like I say, or every time they're going forward on that, his obviously right hand side, they're attacking left hand side. But yeah, he was just really good again. I mean, second half probably dropped off a little bit, but was still good in the game. So Makoso, I'll give a 7.
Yeah, I'll give him a 7 as well. Like second half, we were defending as a team. Do you know what I mean? So, but in the first half, he was defending as a defender, if that makes sense. Like, because the way that it was being played and that. But we sat back in the second half, so they all were doing a job. And he had that shot. He's really, really confident. We don't really want to be burning him out, but at the moment, like, that back three's working well together, so you've got to go with it. But yeah, I'll give him a 7.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I totally agree. Even if you manage him rightly, I mean, me ideally, even though we're not seeing it, if I could pick, I'd like to see like sort of him and Burke change, like in the sense of Makoso starts games and then Burke comes on there. Because like I've said, I do still have my worries with Burke in right wing back. Obviously, he did come on in right wing back in this game as well. But yeah, no, absolutely. Makoso 8 says Ed. Paul has gone with an 8 as well. And that is obviously Jackie's rating for Kaminsky, 7.5 for Makoso. Moving on to McGuinness, like I've said in my match reaction, man of the match, 3 vital blocks, great, clearances as well, and that game definitely warrants his price tag, that's for sure. And we said it even before the performance yesterday. He's a nail on in the team, because he's done so well aerially to clear stuff away. This game was just even better than it has been. So for me, he didn't do anything wrong. He's gonna, he's gonna get a 9.
Yeah, he's my man of the match. I'm going to give him a 10.
I was tempted.
But yeah, then especially for I think it's the second chance where he sort of skewed it a little bit, but I still got it in there. His awareness, his positional sense is outstanding, and he's just getting better and better. And he deserves more goals as well, because he's always up there. He's always like getting a header in, winning his headers in the set pieces and stuff like that. And yeah, he just gets better and better, and he's confident at coming out with the ball, passing it around as well. Yeah, great performance, and he looked determined even before the game when we saw him, warming up or whatever. He just looked so switched on, and that brilliant to see. And yeah, let's hope that he can make many more like that, because we might need it. But yeah, 10 man of the match.
Yeah, I was close to giving him that. Paul's agreed with you. He's got 10 man of the match. Other ratings, Jackie's like me, gone with a 9, and there was another rating. Ed, as it went with a 12. Mate, don't blame you. Moving on to the next player, we'll go over to Bell. Again, I thought Bell was decent in the game, to be fair. It's one of his better games. I thought he defended fairly well. He didn't really have them worrying moments with him, in this game. Like I say, he was taking throws when Makoso wasn't. Let's not forget as well, when Morris obviously did come off, Bell took the armband and he done all right. So for me, I'll give Bell a 7.
Yeah, 7. Just sort of decent performance. No mistakes, no rash passes. Just just a measured performance from him. You know, it could be his last season with us. We'll see. But yeah, decent 7.
Yeah. Jackie has gone with a 7.5 for Bell. Moving on to Jones. I don't know with Jones because, like, there's moments in games, like especially the recent games, the last 2, there's like glimpses, but there's not a huge lot, but like not in a bad way. Obviously, he does keep getting subbed off as well. I mean, for me, I'm just going to give him a 6.5.
Yeah, well, so you see he's got the ability and willing to take players on and stuff, but it's not. I think it's because if he's playing in a more attacking role, it'd be a lot better. But again, in the second half, you know, he's defending and we're going to sacrifice him. But yeah, a little bit above average, but not terrible, 6.5.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Jackie's gone with the same. Ed has gone with a 6. And also for Bell, he went with a 7. Not one of his better games. Yeah, like I say, it's a bit difficult. And again, I said it on the reaction. Him and Asgard in particular, it was difficult in the second half for them to utilise what they're good at. I mean, obviously we'll get into Asgard shortly, but yeah, Jones is just defending is not really his game, but I guess you still go with him because we're not favouring Walters or Hashioka. So yeah, that is a place that definitely needs to be addressed, and hopefully it is, you know, in the summer. So then hopefully next season when we see him play, he'll be higher up and he'll be able to, you know, do what he's better at essentially. But yeah, moving on to Ali, obviously did get the goal. You know, right place, right time sort of goal. And fair play to him. You know, 2 goals in 3 games in that position that we want to see him in. Obviously with Doughty being out. And yeah, you know, again, sort of, you know, I guess struggled a little bit in the second half because of the pressure they were putting on us. And again, similar to Jones, it's not really his game, but, you know, he can do a job there. So yeah, Ali, I'll give him a 7.5.
Yeah, I'll give him an 8. Considering, you know, his performance in the first game, Stoke, brilliant, man of the match there. The last game, not so great, rushing at things and that, but then he sort of switched on again in this game. And, you know, he's asked to be sort of playing, that's not his normal position. And, you know, he's not afraid to run in the box, go past players. He's not just going to rush crosses in. And again, he shows his strength, and he's always going to, because he's played up front as well, you know, he's always going to score goals for me when he's in them positions, and he's getting himself in them positions. I thought he'd done pretty well, particularly in the first half, so I'll give him an 8.
Potentially a new Loire with the celebrations as well that he does. But yeah, the other ratings, Paul's gone with a 7.5, so is Jackie as well. Ed's gone with a 7. Moving on to the next player, we'll go over to, you know what, we'll start off in Naismith. Now, it seemed like, you know, in the first half, he's sort of like in his midfield role with Clark, I guess, you know, and the rest of them that are obviously there. But yeah, I thought he was good. You know, he went into centre back, and I think he deserves a massive shout out as well. And obviously, McGuinness, rightly so, will get the most applause. But I think Naismith, that's the second time since he's come back, you know, that he's wore a headband and played through it still. You know, he's still up there trying to win headers. Like, he's in for the fight. He had an interview after the game. He's got another cut round his face. Do you know what I mean? Just above his eyebrow. Yet again, you know what I mean? Like, the guy is a warrior. And I'm glad, like I said in the match reaction, that he obviously got a full 90 minutes because obviously he cannot feature against Bristol City. And I think it will be a bit of a miss, you know, given that it's the club that he was obviously at as well, and know a little bit of insight on the players and just also how he has been when he has played, bar the Burnley game. So, yeah, I want to give him the credit there. And again, he was really good. So Naismith, I'll give Naismith. Do you know what? I'll give Naismith an 8.
Yeah, I'll give him a 7.5. I thought he was in sort of, you know, defensive midfielder role and done really good, really well. Obviously got elbowed accidentally, but still, and then carried on. And it was even covering in centre back. I noticed a few times when maybe Bell or McGuinness were a bit further forward. And yeah, done really well, comfortable on the ball. You know, the advantage possibly, yes, he can't play, but you know, he'll have quite a lot of knowledge on some of their players, which might help us should help us. So we'll see. But yeah, 7.5.
Yeah, absolutely. Fair enough. Jackie's gone with the same. Ed's gone with a 7. Paul is gone with the same as me and gone with an 8. Ed also says we'll miss him. Yeah, definitely. But then again, like you say, Dad, he'll and I said it will have the insight, but he will still be there. You know, obviously they'll be focusing on it tomorrow, I'm sure. I think today probably makes sense that, you know, them have a recovery day, but then tomorrow Naismith will be telling them stuff, I'm sure. And yeah, hopefully from there on in, you know, we can obviously go into that game and get at least something, but we'll get into that in a bit. Moving on to the next player, we'll go to Clark. I thought second half he weren't great, I'll be honest. First half he was decent, but second half he was quite sloppy in possession. We were getting frustrated with him, you know, we've got to be honest, because he was giving away a lot of, well, just not even fouls, just giving away the ball a lot. And, you know, he was quite sloppy in the second half. But I'm not going to criticise him too much because he has been one of our better players under Bloomfield. And, you know, I still think he'll do well consistently for us throughout the season, the rest of the season. So for me, I'll give Clark a 7.
Yeah, I'll give him a 7 because he was good in the pen. I think part of it as well, mate, that pitch, it was very heavy and certain players you could see were getting knackered and, you know, it's hard to, you know, pass the ball straight sometimes because it just take a bobble and things like that, or slow, or weird bounces and things like that. So attribute a bit of that to it as well. But, you know, he's entitled to have a few sloppy passes after the performance, you know, that he's put in this season, to be fair. And it didn't cost us. But yeah, I'll give him a 7.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Jackie has gone with a 7.5. Moving on to Asgard. Credit to Asgard. Like I say, I thought it was a bit difficult for him in the second half, like Jones as well, for example. But I thought the first half he done really well. Not even the attacking sense, the defensive work he was doing as well. You know, again, it's not really his game. And, you know, obviously we've got a lot more attacking, you know, sort of minded players. Obviously, when you look at wingers / the midfielders in the team, and I thought he done really well there. And, you know, he was getting on the ball, he was making things happen. And he, you know, I know you said it during the game, Dad, and I totally agree. You know, you said you believe he can play in the Prem one day. And I think he's that good as well that he can. And I think personally, whatever league we're in next year, we should build a team around him because, you know, he is the one that is making everything click in that attacking sense for me. You know, he can look out for the passes out wide. You know, he'll take on the shot from distance. He'll look for them passes forward. You know what I mean? So I think we should, personally. And in this game, like I say, good defensive work as well. I'm going to give him a 7.5.
I'm going to give him an 8. I thought he was excellent. I think he's just calm on the ball. He's probably the closest. He's probably, for me, he's the best midfielder at the club. What signing? He's just getting better and better. And he's probably the closest thing to Barkley that we've got. You know, the way he can just turn the ball, you know, get past 2 or 3 players. He doesn't panic. And 9 times out of 10, you know, comes away with the ball, plays the correct pass or whatever. And he's still young. He's just going to get better and better. So I'm going to give him an 8.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. He's going to get better and better. And again, despite the position we've been in this season, I think even if we were higher up the table, we'd have been looking at him. And I think I've said that before because he's that good, you know. And I've obviously was, you know, he's a Scouser as well. So obviously Liverpool fans telling me because he was at their academy at one point as well, like how good he really is. And that was, you know, that was obviously younger age and stuff. And for me, he's just showing it. And again, we know Clark does take a lot of shots from distance sometimes, but I think since Asgard's come in, we just do it a lot more. You know, and obviously you look at the chances he had. That Sheffield United game, he was so unlucky not to score, you know, when it bounced off the woodwork. So, you know, obviously he has got a goal, but, you know, he will get a lot more for us. I'm more than confident in that for sure. 7.5, Jackie has gone with for Asgard. 6 for Clark, says Ed. Fair enough. Moving on to the next player. We'll go over to Lamine. I actually thought he was pretty decent there, to be fair to him. Obviously, he had that chance before Makoso had his chance, and yeah, he was quite good in that role. To be fair, you know, he is one of our rare defensive minded midfielders. Obviously, we've got him in the Canberra, but I thought he was all right in this game. And to be fair, it's weird because he's actually a defensive midfielder, but he seems to play better when he's been asked to attack more. I felt that even though, you know, we know it weren't working under Rob Edwards, even that first game he played against QPR, he weren't terrible in that game either, to be fair. And he was sort of like in a cam role. So maybe go with it going forward, especially with, you know, us trying Chong there. It doesn't quite work. Maybe bring Chong on. That's what I'd be doing for the remaining games as it stands. So yeah, for me, fair play to Lamine. I'll give him 7.
I'll give him 6.5. You know, he had a couple of shots and that. He didn't really put a foot wrong. It's not, again, his natural position. It wasn't sorry, but it kind of, I don't know, it seemed to affect them. And, you know, they're doing, like I said before, unknown quantity and stuff like that. But yeah, I'm not sure we'll start with him again. But it was quite interesting. And like you say, he does seem to be better going forward. But I'll give him 6.5.
It's like in ways, obviously when we had Kraus, he was sort of more defensive minded, but then he'd get asked to do an attacking role. But Lamine's like proper stood out for me when he's done it, you know, especially, and to be fair, when you look at, let's be honest, the more defensive side of his game, he ain't been great in it. You know, you look at a Stoke goal, whether you think that's a foul or not, it was given as a foul. The Sunderland away game, you know, he weren't great in that. So, you know, in them attacking games, they're much more positive, you know, outcomes from him with it. So, you know, maybe we persist with it when we do play him going forward at this moment in time. 7, says Jackie. 7 as well, says Paul. Moving on to Morris. Again, I thought, you know, the goal, you got to give him credit. Obviously, he was involved in it. The yellow card, frustrating. And again, because there was so much pressure, it was difficult for us to actually get it up there really to him in the second half. But it was a better game than what we have seen from him. So I'll give him a 7.
Yeah, I'll give him a 7. You know, kind of a vital sort of that flick on, massive. You know, and then confidence inside the box. Ironically, he was taking it or dribbling it and laid it off to Makoso, obviously shot wide, and you know, he was just scrapping as he normally does, and then you know, he had to walk past the Derby fans and he just staring
my God.
to the Luton fans. So that was
funny.
You know, that's the kind of character he is. So, you know, and at the moment you've got to start him really because he's got the experience with us. He's not in great form, but you're not going to. We can't really be putting 2 rookies up there. I know I said it in and just for the crack, like really, wasn't it? Naismith and Lynch, but yeah, I think and there's rumours he's been playing with an injury. And this, that, and the other. He has played a lot of games, and he's obviously used to be playing up front with Elijah, and it's chopping and changing. So yeah, it's difficult, but no, he was all right in this game. 7.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised at because last season, I think he played every single game for us in the Premier League. So I wouldn't be surprised if that was the case. And again, I know I've said about dropping him, but then also, you know, you've got Nordas who has showed decent glimpses in the last couple of games, but still not enough to warrant a start for sure for me. And Lamine was all right in that role. So, yeah, it's an interesting one. Obviously, Chong had a very short cameo, but he was effective. So, you know, it's interesting there. But I also think with the other strikers you've got out for the season, Brown and Elijah, you can't really, you know, persist to keep changing it. Do you know what I mean? Like, stick with what worked in the last game, personally. But yeah, good to see Kate in the chat. Good, thanks. Happy about yesterday. Just popping in to say hi. Yeah, no worries. Yeah, it's a good win yesterday, absolutely. And we needed it. You know, we needed it. It gives us a little bit of confidence now to go on and hopefully stay up. But yeah, moving on to the substitutions. Mengi, I thought he was much better in this game compared to the last game. Wasn't sloppy. Done a lot of good clearances. and that was the Mengi I'm used to seeing. So for me, I'll give him a 7.
Yeah, 100%. Exactly the same. And we knew it. That first game was a blip, really. Do you know what I mean? Got thrown on sort of in the last whatever it was 5 minutes. And that happens. You know, you're rusty, but he was definitely up to speed, as we should say. I'll give him a 7.
Yeah, absolutely. Burke, again, it's a difficult one with Burke because he comes on in that right wing back role, and it's not really me personally. I just worry when he's there. It's not really his game, but I guess he did do okay there. I'll just give him a 6.5.
Yeah, same.
Simple as that. Jackie's gone with 7 for Mengi. Moving on to Nakamba. Now, it's an interesting one with Nakamba because, yes, it's fresh legs. You know, he's on and he's going to chase them down. But a lot of times it looked like he was basically up front, you know, because he was so high up there trying to press them down. But I thought, again, similar to Burke, okay, I'll just give him a 6.5.
Yeah, I'll give him a 6.5. And Nordas probably 6. And then Chong, we're going to give a 7 just because he closed the game out perfectly. He was on for like a minute or whatever, 3 minutes or something like that. But he exactly what he was told to do, he done it with aplomb, basically. And that helped us massively, getting the ball up the pitch, winning the free kicks, etc. And it's good to see the passion from him as well, to be honest. So I'll give him a 7.
Yeah, no, it was. And I do agree with all them other ratings as well. But yeah, as for the ratings that we do throughout the season, or halfway through the season, shall I say, that has now put McGuinness right up there, joint second with Clark, 8. Obviously, as for us, we've got Kaminsky leading by 1 vote so far, 9. So McGuinness is up there now. He's getting up there. Obviously, both give him it, which has put him level second. So it's going to be interesting to see how that ends come the season. As for the scores, obviously, we both weren't as confident for a win. Obviously, I said a loss, 1-0, other way round. I got it right. Obviously, you went with a high score in 2-all, Dad. And to be fair, with the chances the teams had, it could have easily been like that, to be honest. But overall, you got a win. If I don't get my prediction right, and it's like I say when I do a bet, if I don't get it right, and I say Luton will lose or whatever, or not get the result I want them to get, you know, then I can't complain. And that's what it was. We needed to go and win. We did that. And yeah, the away support as well, like I said on the match reaction, was brilliant. You know, all I could hear was Luton fans. The only time I heard the Derby fans was when they were saying, "Come on, Derby." That was it. And when they were moaning because Naismith was bleeding, but time wasting apparently. So yeah, great win. We needed that against relegation rivals. And yeah, McGuinness, a magical performance, which now has given us confidence going into Bristol City, which obviously we'll get into now. Again, you know, this is not going to be an easy game. You know, the 3 remaining games are all teams chasing for playoffs. Bristol City, you know, even though they are playing us, I do want them to get in the playoffs come the end of the season and confirm that 6th spot at least, because I said they would. You know, I've got respect for them. You know, obviously they, you know, done dealings with them over the years. Cornick, you have Cornick to them. Obviously, we got Naismith back. Do you know what I mean? I don't mind them. They got vital win, like you said, Dad, and for me that does help us a little bit because there's not going to be as much pressure like you mentioned, and also the fact that you know they're sort of in a decent position. It's like even if they probably lost this game and say for example Coventry won, you know, they'd still be in the playoffs. So it's not the be all or end all really to what it could have been if they didn't get a result yesterday. Going 1-0 down as well, by the way. But yeah, I mean, it's going to be an interesting one. Obviously, we don't know what's going to come out yet regarding the press. I mean, if I had to predict, I probably wouldn't say too much. Maybe Baptiste will be back, but he ain't going to start, is he? And even then, he'll probably come on and get injured. I mean, I'm getting annoyed. I wouldn't even be asked, to be honest. But yeah, that's probably all I can see. Maybe, or Hashioka might be on the bench, but even then, he's been available, but he hasn't been selected. So I can't see that. I think most of it's going to be what it was. Lucky enough for us, no one come off injured, which was great. You know, especially with how it's been for us over the last 2 years with injuries. But yeah, obviously the positions. If Bristol City did win, they would go 6 points behind Sunderland, but Sunderland will cement that 4th place. I'm sure that's obviously a draw, like I say, wouldn't be at the end of the end of the world, sorry. Depends on what the Coventry result obviously is. As for us, a win could be massive. Again, depends on what the other teams do. But if we did win and Hull and Derby didn't, then we would actually go up to 20th, which would be absolutely massive. And I looked at the games. Hull have got Preston. I mean, Preston ain't really got much to play for. That's my only worry. And then obviously Derby are away to West Brom. I mean, ideally for us, I would say because we got West Brom at the end of the season, and you sort of don't want them to have a chance of getting playoffs just based on that, us having more to play for. Ideally, you want to draw in that game, in my opinion, or West Brom win. I don't know. I'm just looking at it from the future as well, in my opinion. So ideally, a draw could be okay, but then again, a win would be better to cement it against Bristol City. But we do have a good record against Bristol City at home. So Luton Town have won each of their last 6 home league games against Bristol City by a combined score, guys. Listen to this, of 16-4. That's mental. Bristol City will be looking to complete a first league double over Luton since the 2000-2001 season after winning the reverse fixture 1-0 in December. Which, by the way, guys, as much as I give credit to Bristol City and stuff, that game, they were terrible. I have to be honest. I mean, we were just terrible in any away game back then, but it was a tight game. The only difference was Scott Twine, simply in that game. Obviously, it's the Boxing Day game. After winning their last home league game played on Easter Monday against Blackpool in 2023, 3-1. I remember that game. I did a watch along to that. Luton will be looking to win successive home EFL matches on this day for the first time since 1982. So, another record we could potentially break. Bristol City have won just one of their last 7 league games played on Easter Monday, drawing 3, losing 3. Though that sole victory did come last season against Plymouth, a 1-0 win. Then Bristol City's Naki Wells has scored 4 goals in 8 championship appearances on Easter Monday, including a winning goal from the bench against Plymouth last year. So that's a bit of insight there. So got a pretty good record against them. Again, I know last time I said we had a good record against the team. It was Blackburn and we lost. But, that win will give us confidence. It will. And hopefully, like we said, sort of that win for Bristol City has sort of made them not go all out as much. Obviously, ideally, they want to get another win. Of course, they would. But hopefully, it's not as much pressure on them, and we can utilise our home form a little bit. Because, if I'm being honest, and I think I said it in the reaction, I'd rather play away. We've actually been slightly better away recently. But how are you feeling going into this game, Dad?
Obviously more confident. Like I say, got good records, kind of a bogey team for them. It's not essentially a must-win game, really. They're high flying, but it's important for us to play much better, obviously, than we did against Blackburn, and we've really got to, go at them, not be afraid of them. And don't be sitting deep if we're 1-0 up, because they'll equalise and possibly get a winning goal. We can't have that. But yeah, I'm pretty confident that we can get something from this game. Let's hope Naismith's got some good insight. But I mean, we've played him over the years anyway. Haven't some of the players they've got there we know. I don't know if Twine's injured or not. But Naki Wells is probably, he's a very good striker. I think he scores against us quite a lot. But yeah, the only thing is, I'm hoping they're not too leggy after the last game. But, they played as well, so we'll see. There might be changes, but we'll see what happens. But I'm quite confident we can get a result.
Yeah, I mean, like I say, our record is very good against them at home. You look at the last time We did obviously lose against them at Kenilworth Road, and that was in 2000. So, very good record. It's usually when we go away, especially in the recent sort of years, we do struggle there. You think of this year, even though it was a tight game, obviously we did lose in the end. I remember a couple of years ago, we lost 2-0. I think we had 2-0 down in like 10 minutes. But at Kenilworth Road, we have a good record. I remember we played a midweek, and I went to it and we beat them 2-1. That was in January 2022. And yeah, like predominantly, we got a pretty good record. There was a time there, even though it's, oh no, it was in League One actually, beaten 5-0. I mean, in 2005, like throughout then, we have a pretty good record. We've actually only lost to them 3 times since 2004, and they're all at their ground. But it's weird because we don't really score at their ground. All them games, we haven't scored them 3 where we've lost. So, yeah, we've got a good record. We can be a bit more confident, from that last result. So, yeah, I mean, might as well get into it now, lineup. So, as for me, when it comes to this game, I am going to make just one change to the team. And that is Liam Walsh in for Naismith, because obviously Naismith can't play. And Walsh, I feel, he didn't even play. That midfield 3 has been working predominantly. So I'll stick with it. And then obviously I have gone with that same formation with Lamine in his own role again. I was thinking of maybe putting Chong there. But, there was a stage, I think it was in the Premier League, I was saying, bring him on in games. But I'll give him that stage now because obviously the last 2 times when he has started, granted it's sort of been as a striker, it hasn't really worked. And Lamine did all right, so I'll go with it again. But with it being a quick turnaround, we know Bloomfield historically, especially at Wickham, did change it around when it was a quick turnaround. So maybe there might be a few more changes, but that is what I reckon. Kaminsky in goal, put Bell there again, he was decent. McGuinness, obviously, Makoso, hopefully take him off, for defender, just to manage him a little bit. Jones, you're going to stick with him. Ali, you're going to stick with him. Asgard, you stick with him for me. Clark, Walsh, and then, like I say, Lamine and Morris. Like I say, Nordas has showed decent glimpses, but not enough to warrant a start for me. So that's why I stick with it like that when it comes to that. But yeah, as for your lineup, lads, there you go.
Well, I've gone back to the 3-5-2. I think we probably will do at home. So pretty much the same team. Obviously, I brought Walsh in for Naismith. And that ain't Ollie Lynch, by the way, but it's the only Lynch we can find on the on the thing. So I'm putting him up front, and we'll see what happens. I can't see it being the same as the last game. Chong, I don't think will go there. Like I said, it was interesting to see Taylor and Harris on the bench, but I do think the fact that we've recalled Lynch and it has been mentioned, I expect him to be involved. He might not start, but I do expect him to be on the bench at least. So yeah, that's what I'm going with, especially at home.
Yeah, no, we could very well, change it. Like say, it would make sense being at home. We want to be more on the front foot at home, whoever we're playing, really. So I guess if you've got 2 there, it does make a bit more sense, really. But yeah, I mean, for me, like I say, the reason I've gone with it is just sticking by what worked. And again, I know they were very dominant in the second half, and we done well in the end. But there was just them moments where we could have pushed up a bit higher and stuff. But yeah, I'll stick with that. I mean, a lot of them players, it'd be hard to drop them anyway, whatever formation you go with, just based on, especially at defence. They were really good. That whole line for me. Obviously the 3 with Kaminsky. So yeah, I mean, it is that time. Score predictions, like I say, both feeling fairly confident after last result. Bristol City sort of cementing more chance of a playoff position come the end of the season. So, what's your score prediction, Dad, for this game?
Well, I want us to win. We haven't had back-to-back wins since September, which is the only time we have back-to-back wins this season. That was Sheffield Wednesday and Millwall. And we were lucky to beat Millwall, I believe, and Sheffield Wednesday, to be fair. So I'm sure. I think we should fight, and I've just got a feeling that it's going to be a 1-1 draw.
Well, great minds think alike. I've gone 1-1 as well. In this game, do think we can get something out of it. Like I say, we have confidence, but our confidence as well. Again, I have to give massive credit for that to Bristol City. I said at the start of the year, they come sixth, and I hope they do cement them places because we call names under the sun. But hopefully they don't beat us. Yeah, I want them to. Come on, guys. Come on, Bristol City fans. I respect you as a club. Come on. At least let us get something out of the game. So, yeah. But, yeah, when it comes to goal scorers, or goal scorer, shall I say, who are you going with for us?
I'm going to have to. He's got to do it at some point, so I'm going to go Carlton Morris.
Carlton Morris, okay. Who do I go with? Do you know what? I'll go Asgard. I was going to go Ali again to maybe get 3 out of 4, which would be, but no, I'll go Asgard. I think he could have a chance, and hopefully for him. Yeah, it don't really matter how it goes in, but like he takes the long shots. Hopefully, he has a long shot and like scores or something. That'd be good. So yeah, there we go with that. Paul's score prediction is 2-0. Gone with us to get a clean sheet. Asgard and Ali. Yeah, Asgard as well. I'm going for a 3-1 again. Very unlikely, but brought me Friday. Jordan, Ali, and Colton. So Jackie's gone with Morris to score as well. Yeah, I mean, hopefully. But yeah, it's a bit difficult with him at the moment, isn't it, really? When it does come to that. But any final things, Dad, you want to say?
No, I'd like to say it's a quick turnaround. I'd say feeling confidence in our hands. Obviously, we've got to keep our eye on other results. A draw wouldn't be the worst result. A win would be incredible. But yeah, if we can stay unbeaten, we've got a very good chance of staying up.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Absolutely with that. And hopefully, obviously, taking it game by game. But if we do get something out of this, obviously, I know we've got Coventry, but then when you look at that West Brom game, hopefully their playoff hopes are dampened. Do you know what I mean? And we're in a game where we need to win more than them, essentially. But obviously, we've got 2 games before that, which hopefully we can get stuff out of. As much as they will be very difficult. But yeah, the final thing I want to say before we end this is the reason we done it today, and I partly mentioned it at the start. I did put a community post out. Do check it out, guys. Basically, I'm in London tomorrow, and we'll be watching Leicester versus Liverpool in a casino. There'll be some Liverpool fans there who want some fan cams. A lot of people have voted so far, so thank you to everyone that has. But yeah, basically, it's just it's a good opportunity, really, for myself, I'll be honest, and also. Obviously, Liverpool could win the league tomorrow, which I don't think Ipswich will beat Arsenal. But if they did, you never know. Then that could happen. So it'd be good to get some stuff out. So do vote on that, guys. That'll be much appreciated. And seeing what the votes are tomorrow morning, I'll go from there really with that. And then obviously for Monday, I'll be doing a reaction to the game. The Luton game, which hopefully we get a positive result out of, and then we go into that Coventry game on Saturday. Obviously, we'll do a hat show earlier on in the week, then we'll do one later on in the week on Friday to preview the game. Then obviously we will. We should be together for that again, actually, Dad. So we'll watch that again together, and I'll have a reaction for you guys for then as well. So yeah, guys, big up to everyone that has tuned in. Don't forget to obviously smash a like if you haven't already. Do subscribe. Do check out the match reaction as well if you haven't already, and everything like that. And again, like I say, do vote on the community post. It'd be much appreciated. And smash a like, subscribe, all of that. Follow me across my socials. Subscribe to the extra channel as well. All of that is in the description. And yeah, until next time, we will see you lot in a bit. So yeah, take care and peace. Come on, Luton.